So here's a short story which backs up why I always say you got to take a lot of time to get to know your girl before you get exclusive with her, and especially if you marry her, in particular about the subject of money. Because there's nothing that can screw up a relationship, let alone a marriage, more than differences in money. If she's a big compulsive shopper, is terrible with bad credit, that type of thing, don't get involved with her, don't marry her, otherwise your life is going to be a nightmare. And of course, what happens when you enable someone's behavior? Titled, My Wife Has Run Up Hidden Debt 3 times. And shout out to AM for sending this story. And guys, as I've been saying all week, if you haven't done already, if you're on X, formerly Twitter, come check me out and join SSM channels. It's growing out there every day. We're having a good time building the community over there. Definitely come on by. He says, my apologies if this comes across as a bit of a ramble, but I'm not great with written communication. My wife has ran up hidden credit card debt and store credit debt for the 3rd time recently, and I think I've had enough. It should have been enough the first time, dude, not second and third time. My wife and I are both in our early 30s with 3 children under 5 years old. We recently bought a home 2.5 years ago. The first I was made aware of her debts was nearly 10 years ago. It was approximately $12,000 on payday loans. She managed to get the financial burden reduced to be a few grand off the total, and I paid the rest off. Smack! Right there. Right there. You just enabled her behavior. First, she realized she could obviously do what she had to do with those organizations to help people reduce credit card debts, and then you paid the rest off. Now you taught her that you can fix her problems. That she can do it again, no consequences, because obviously there were no consequences. And by the way, guys, I want you to see through this story if you think she has a genuine sickness, as people call these things, or you're going to see if you think, like me, that she's just doing it on purpose because she knows she can get away with it. She paid me back monthly, however. It's in a dispute whether she paid it all back, but at the time, I wrote it off. She didn't pay it all off. However, it is worth noting that just a few weeks before revealing the debt to me, she had a boob job, which I put down the deposit for. The timing is suspicious, to say the least. Isn't that interesting? So in other words, she's thinking, oh, he has money to help pay for my boob job. Well, I guess, I can rack up some debt because I'll pay that too. So you can see his weakness for her. Obviously, she's good looking, the boobs and all that. Look, I like big tits like as much as the next guy, and I cannot lie. But that means I'm going to do this for a girl. Moving on, approximately 8 years later, or 3 years from today, we had been renting for a few years, and I had one child at the time. My grandma gifted me a significant amount of money for a deposit on our house. I then found out that she ran up another $10,000+ again. Of course she did. You should have cut things off with her the first time around. But you didn't. And now she's like, okay, I'll do it again. I had to use some of the deposit money to pay this off. The rest went to the house, and with all the other costs and expenses associated, my savings had taken a hit. Smack! Again, I'm not hearing anything about her having a job. I'm not hearing anything about you making her sell some shit that she has. What is she spending the money on? Have you not noticed stuff accumulating? Seriously, why after the first time you cut up her credit cards, you said, look, every week I'm going to be checking balances on cards. I'm going to get a copy of your credit report, once a month to see what's out there, that type of thing. And if you pull this shit again, we're done. Why aren't you doing that? And I don't care if people say it's controlling. But now the second time, here you go. Now you got a kid with her. I told her at the time that this cannot happen when we have a house. We will end up losing it. With people like her, you will lose it. So last week, now 3 years later, after the last debt, and after being in our new house for 2.5 years, I found she racked up, wait for it, another $12,000+ in debt. Across credit cards, store cards, and it started again just 2 months of being in the new house. Okay, so what are you going to do now? Pay it off and then wait for the 4th time? This is why, guys, nothing can ruin a relationship more than finances. How is this guy going to build wealth, even take care of his family, and stay in his house with a jackass like her? In my opinion, she's doing this on purpose because she knows he will bail her out. What, because she got a fucking boob job? But we're not done yet to show you the mentality she has. I found out when I saw AquaPay on phone history and questioned her on it. She tried playing it off as something else, but then admitted to it and told me it was $5,000 in debt. I asked for all her statements so I could look through it, which I did immediately that evening. So she lied. Oh, it's only $5,000. It's pretty much closed, etc. I noticed it showed that she had cleared off the balance entirely 1 month, but then continued spending on it. It turns out she just had a balance transfer card, and she apparently wasn't going to tell me about even after I found out about the Aqua credit. Yeah, that's what she did. She's just transferring it around or borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, whatever. Was she planning on fucking telling me? This woman paid the debt off on the same day and started using it again. She then had a store card and a big overdraft amounting to the total debts. And obviously her credit is in the shitter. I don't even see what we have to show for all this fucking money. She doesn't wear fancy clothes, and we haven't got nice things. I've just got a massive hole in my pocket now. No, she should have a hole in her pocket, not you. But look, you keep enabling her behavior. Divorce her. End of story. It ain't gonna change. I am lost as to what to do now. I have had enough. This ain't just 3 instances of debt. This is years and years of lying and manipulating. We have 3 kids, and the lifestyle we will have to live now to pay these debts off is going to make us miserable. No, it should make her miserable. Start making her sell shit. I don't care what she has. I don't care if she has to walk around a potato sack with freaking flip-flops on. She's selling everything. She needs to learn there's consequences. But better yet, I got a better idea. Go find a fucking lawyer. Do what you gotta do. End of story. And why isn't she working 3 jobs? Says here, the only option I see is if I take 100% control of her finances, but how will that realistically work? She won't be happy with zero money to spend. I'll be seen as a dictator. What that guarantees, she won't run up any more debt while I'm sorting this out. You should have taken control of her finances. You should have divorced her before, but if not, yeah, you should have taken control of the finances. And who cares if you're seen as a dictator? Say, hey, call me Stalin. I don't care. And if she's going to be miserable, tough shit. Sounds like she's miserable anyway. I may ask if she signs the house and car over to me to protect from debtors and give me the kids security. Yes, she should. I get grief from people for being tight, and I feel like all I ever say is I've got no money for this, while she's spending whatever she wants with no care. I don't pay into a pension or dental. I drive an old banger, so we have enough money each month. Why should I bother sorting this all out? Bro, it's a lost cause. But, people are like this. You enable people's behavior. And I know some people are going to say she's got a sickness or an illness. And let's just say she did. Well, you're not helping her by keep bailing her out. I feel like cutting my losses and getting divorced. I have no trust that she will not do it again. Brother, she will do it again. I feel betrayed, cheated out of a life almost where I've had to be frugal, and she's done nothing while I clean up the mess. She's lied to it for years continuously. You have no trust in your relationship, and better yet, you can't trust that she's not going to do something stupid, and you can lose the house. You got to think of your kids at this point, man. Only recently for Valentine's Day, she ruined that day. She's saying that she wanted a second wedding. He says, we did a budget wedding during COVID. I told her she was cuckoo if she thinks that we can afford it, and 2, even if there was 100 things I'd rather spend the money on, like a family holiday, a new kitchen, garden, etc. She wants another boob job, to which I mentioned to her questioning how would we afford the wedding, and she just said, well, it would come out of her wages. Her wages? What do you mean her wages? What, her fucking Monopoly money? As if our finances aren't joint, and I wouldn't be picking up the slack in bills. This was all before finding out about the 3rd lot of debts. I feel like I'm finally seeing her for a horrible person. I don't want to lose my kids, but how long can I keep putting up with this? What if these debtors start coming from my house? I paid the entire deposit and every single mortgage repayment since we have been here. She has effectively contributed nothing, less than nothing if I'm just picking up her debts every few years. How do I trust her in other areas of life if she's able to do this and hide it from me? I've been thinking about getting paternity tests also. Oh, God. Can you imagine after this he finds out his kids aren't his? At this point, I wouldn't put past her for offering me for the life insurance. I'm going to speak with her tonight as far as the only thing that we've discussed is the debts and looking into severity options. Any advice is appreciated. I think it's hard to see things for what they are when you're lost in it. I'm considering A, divorce, or B, taking control of the finances for a 6-month trial period to see if it's a life worth saving. Only if she signs over all assets, house, and car solely to me, so debtors cannot come for them if she does this again. I need protection in case she does this again. I feel so angry, but then also feel guilty. Is this an illness she needs therapy for? Therapy, illnesses can't be used for everything, surely. Oh, man. Dude, I'd divorce her. Enough's enough. You've helped her and helped her and helped her. And if she's got some problems, it's not like she's trying to get help or anything. But if he's not going to divorce her, then absolutely he needs to take control of all the finances. But it's not going to be hard for her to just apply for a new credit card or apply for new store credit or gambling debts or who the hell knows, or taking your kid's stuff and selling it to a pawn shop and getting cash. She's self-destructive. But frankly, I think he's going to probably cave. The old don't want to break up a family thing, but absolutely, if she stays and he keeps her around, he's got to control the finances. Everything has to be signed over to him, et cetera, et cetera. I consult an attorney, but honestly, a situation like this, he should end it and take the hit and move on, because he's never going to build much of a life, let alone with her fucking everything up. But again, guys, as you can see, you got to do your homework on your girl. If you are a guy that's a saver, or at least the majority of the time you enjoy yourself, but you want to save, you want to build wealth, you will never, ever be able to do it with someone like this, ever. Any money comes in, not only are they going to spend the money that's coming in, it will be spent before it comes in, and they'll spend way more. And you can make $1 million a year, they'll spend $1.2 million a year. Guaranteed. There are people like this. I've known a couple people, and their lives have been messes always. They don't change. So there you go, guys.